Hello and welcome back. Today we have a total of 4 figures from the brand new Masters of the Universe Chronicles line from Mattel. All 4 figures are based on the upcoming film from Amazon and Mattel, due to hit cinemas in June. And while I am not the biggest Masters of the Universe fan, in fact I only got into it through the Resurrection, whatever series is on Netflix, I am really looking forward to this film. In fact, it might be the top film I am looking forward to this summer. Since the announcement of the Chronicle lines of figures, I've been really excited for these as well. I think they all look absolutely fantastic. They look like really great representations of their characters as they are due to appear in the films, at least based on the trailers I've seen. This is a different line to Masterverse. I think they're a little smaller. Now, I have a few figures here and there from Masterverse. They do sit a little bit taller, in my opinion, than I normally collect. The Masterverse sits closer to 7-inch, where these come in at 6.5. We have Trapjaw, Ram Man, Fisto, and Skeletor to look at. I will admit that I have no knowledge on Ram Man or Fisto at all. I have no real interest or connection to these characters at all. However, I missed the pre-order on Whole Shebang, and I happened to see these on Amazon and ended up deciding, you know what, I feel like I might regret it if I don't get them, so I ended up pre-ordering these. I'm still waiting on others in the line to be dispatched. I'm a little disappointed that they seem to be harder to get than I was hoping. The only place I have seen them for pre-order so far is the Whole Shebang, which are a good retailer. I've never had any problems with them. It's just I had really hoped that these were going to have quite a wider release. I'm a little surprised Smiths didn't stock anything. But anyway, here we have the first 4 figures. Let's start taking a look at them. So they all come in very similar style packaging. We get the very bright Master of the Universe logo for the film up at the top with Chronicles below. It's all embossed as well. On the top there is an embossed Master of the Universe logo as well. Then coming down, the box is a combination of gloss and a matte finish, which is a little rough. The blacks are all done in sort of a matte finish. I really like that down the side here we get the character's name in Eternian. So that appears to be Trapjaw. Now, I did have a brief look, so if that's a T, that's an R. That's an A. You can see there as well, Ram Man. The A's are the similar. The R's are the same. So it's clearly a designed language for the film, and it's nice that they're actually using that throughout. It'll be interesting to see if someone can actually translate all of the letters of the alphabet so we know what each letter represents, but that's by the by. Here, on the bottom, we get a deluxe articulation promo. It's just a generic mold with deluxe articulation at the bottom. Sorry about the noise, I've got something printing in the background. We get the character name along the bottom, Trapjaw, evil and armed for combat. Mattel logo. On one side we've got a promo image of the character as he appears in the film. Well, it's more of an artwork than an actual still, but nonetheless. Coming around, we get a wraparound image. We get the villain on the right hand side with He-Man on the left. What's interesting is Skeletor is the same, so we get Skeletor and then He-Man. However, with Ram Man and Fisto, we get Ram Man and Fisto, and then we get Skeletor. So I'm assuming that all of the hero characters will have box art with their character on the left and Skeletor on the right, while the villains will have the villain on the right and then He-Man on the left. I can't say that for certain until I get some of the other heroes in, but that does appear to be the case, and I quite like that idea as some promo art. We then get what I assume is Eternia in the background. I really love the colour scheme they've used on the box art for these, especially those purples. Bottom is our standard legal and barcode, and then the back we get some promo shots of the figure itself. We get a cross-sell at the bottom of the other villains in this wave, so Skeletor and Trapjaw. And we also get some promo art of our character within, along with a brief bio at the top. Skeletor is the same, that window box packaging, allowing us to see the figure within. His fist is in there, it's just fallen out. I don't know if you can see it. And that's also happened on this set, so some of the stuff isn't as well embedded as maybe you might like. Skeletor's promos images on the back, brief bio if you're interested, cross-sell, promo art, and then we get Ram Man and Fisto, window box packaging, all the same as the two villains, just for the hero alternatives. Then we get our promo art for the two figures, along with product images and cross sales at the bottom. No bio, interestingly, for this one, but there we have it. So without any further ado, let's start taking a look at these figures within. This was the very first set I had delivered, so it seems fitting that they should be the first ones to get opened. Now, the way the packaging is designed, this is just a plastic clamshell, but then in the background we get an image of Castle Grayskull and the bridge, all done in sort of oranges and reds. But the way the box is designed, even the insert is molded to fit that with a wraparound image, which I think is a really nice touch. As I said, one of the fists had come loose. We get our figures. Let's get this out of the packaging. Okay, so now we have our figures out of the packaging. Let's take a look at them. So Ram Man comes with a axe, which has got a really nice iron coloured silver at the top for the Battlehead, coming down into a brown plastic, which is unpainted, except for the pummel, which is done like a skull with horns, and some really nice detailing in there. You can see also some molded detail for the straps. Would have been nice if perhaps that could have been painted as well, but nonetheless, there's some really nice levels of paint and details here, and it appears that the silver used up here is a different silver to what's used here. At least it appears to be. It might be that one of them's got a wash and the other hasn't. I don't know, but it does feel like an extra level that wasn't necessary. Before I continue, I'll mention that these are hitting around the £25 price point, so the standard collector line price points, very similar to the Marvel Legends, Black Series, stuff that Hasbro's putting out. So that's obviously worth noting when considering comparisons and details and things like that. He also comes with 2 extra pairs of fists, or an extra pair of fists, should I say. Fisto comes with a effects piece, which appears to be sort of like a punching effects piece. Very standard to what we've seen with a lot of other figures out there. It's very reminiscent. Very, very reminiscent of what Hasbro was doing with their Power Rangers Lightning Collection stuff, that sort of thing. But I really like the way it's been molded. It's not just a single sort of curved mold coming down. There's layers to it. And it looks really, really nice. I really like how that's been done. He also comes with a pair of fists, one for his metallic fist hand and a standard hand. Also in the pack is these effects, which I'm assuming belong to Fisto. I've not seen any promo art with either of these using the effects. They're not listed on the box either, so I'm not 100% sure, but I can't see Ram Man using them, so I'm assuming that they are intended for Fisto. They're both the exact same mold, so we'll see in a minute when we come to look and play with the figures. But first up we have Ram Man. And the detailing on these figures are astounding. They really, really are. As I mentioned, they are coming in at that sort of £25 price point, very similar to what you would expect from Hasbro's collector lines with Marvel and Star Wars, etc., etc. However, I feel the level of detail on these is over and above what you would expect for the price point. Now, I don't know if Mattel's done that solely because these are the very first figures being released. They're tying into that movie and they want to capture fans and newcomers alike, and whether future waves will have a little less deco on them as they recoup their losses, I don't know. I'm just speculating there. But if this holds up through the line, that's going to be amazing. So with Ram Man, his body armor is initially done in a sort of iron colored silver, but then we get a layer of washes throughout. You can see he's got sort of an oily wash, which could have been done a little better. It's pulled in certain places, but it's not too untowards or anything like that. And then they get some green dry brushes just to give it a tint and a hint. There's a lighter silver for these chains, which is then given a dry brush with almost a rusty bronze colour, coming down into the arms, which are done in a flesh tone. That silver and dry brushing effect again there. The body torso is wearing a red tunic and skirt piece, but you can see even the rivets have been painted with a gold colour, mostly. Some of them are misaligned slightly, but it's not something you would notice once it's on the shelf. It's only me literally staring at it right now that I'm noticing those. We also get a painted belt with some really, really nice molded detail. Legs. This is what I love. The boots here. The boots are done in a very dark colour, but they're then given a dry brush of sort of mud effects to give them a dirty and worn look, and it looks fantastic. That really is over and above what you would expect for a figure at this price point. Articulation wise, the head is on a ball joint, as is the neck, so you can get some real ranges of movement there, even with his helmet being stuck between the neck brace. You can still get plenty of movement there. The arms are on a standard peg and swivel, and there is a butterfly joint there, but it isn't the greatest of movements. He does have a shoulder pad as well, but that never really gets in the way. He sort of can get a 360 turn. The shoulder pads get in the way a little, but you can mess with it to get him in a position you need. There is that standard bicep swivel we expect for figures of this sort of size and price point. Double hinged elbow. The elbows look a little weird to me. They're a little longer than one might expect, so they look a little odd, but it's not. It doesn't necessarily break the figure in any real way, but you can get some really decent ranges there. The arms, or the wrists, sorry, are on a peg and swivel, so you can get plenty of range of movement there. On the torso, there is a ball joint at the torso point, and then there is a turn at the waist. So I think the waist is also on a ball joint as well, so you can get plenty of movement there. Legs, so the legs are hindered by his skirt piece a little, but you can get him coming forward. They won't really go back because this is all done as a solid piece. Would have been nice if perhaps this could have been cut in the same way. Double hinge at the knee. Is there anything? There's nothing at the thigh. Just that standard ball joint. But we do get a boot cut, and we get a peg and swivel for the ankle as well. So standard articulation you would expect with figures like this. But overall, this figure really does look absolutely stunning. I truly love how he looks. You can get a... Come on. There we go. He gets a grip on his axe. Looks a little bit small in his arm. Could have maybe done just a bit bigger, but it doesn't... You know, it's cool. We can get him... See if we can get him sort of running. Right. That, so you can get... Oh. So, yeah, you can get some decent poses with him there. Which then moves us on to Fisto. Again, I'm not going to go through the articulation. It is all of the same articulation as the Ram Man. He still gets the boot cut. So, face sculpt's not bad. The hair could have maybe done with some washing or something just to bring out the individual strands, but it's not too bad. There's plenty of washes and dry brushes throughout on his armor, really bringing this out and bringing it to life. Coming down onto the belt, the silver on his legs and knee pads. Again, he's got the sort of dirt dry brushing on the boots. There's almost a pearlescent silver, almost. It's a very light silver with some really nice dry brushing for his fist. It's giving it sort of a metallic-y stone vibe. Changing the hands is a little tough. You can see they're just on pegs, but it does just switch over like that. There we go. So he gets his fist there, and then the effects piece will slide over so you can get him I think so the fist effects piece is designed to go on a certain way. You can see there's two grooves here. They go on the inside like that, which is pretty cool. So then we get these effects pieces, and let's see how they work. So weird. Doesn't peg in there. It's too big of a gap. Too big of a gap. Too big of a peg. So I'm not quite sure what these are for. I really don't know what those effects pieces are for. And peg sizes on Ram Man are the same. Does his head come off? Oof. So head pops. No, it's not going there either. So I don't know what those are for. If anyone knows, I'd love to know. Because as it stands, they appear to be too big for the wrists. They don't fit as a sort of headpiece or anything like that. They can sort of hold them, but I don't see what the point of that would be. So I'm really not sure what these are for. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know what those are for, so it will be... I'm going to have to maybe have a look around and see if I can find out. But there we have Ram Man and Fisto, and really great figures. Absolutely love the articulation, the detail, the accessories they come with. Some really great pieces. Which then brings us on to our villains. And let's start with Trapjaw. And again, such a great looking figure. He has all of the same articulation as our heroes. So there's no change in that department. The only difference is... well, I suppose actually he still has a boot cut. It's just higher up at the knee. So what's happening here is the knee pegs actually deeper into the boot, and then the boot comes up over the leg. But you still get the full range of movement there. His skirt piece sort of gets in the way a little of the legs, but nothing too untowards. We get a movable jaw. You can see that's just pegged on, so it does unpeg if you accidentally do something like that. But he does have a hingeable jaw, which is a really nice touch. So you can get a little bit of movement out of that. I really love that head sculpt, really menacing. There's some really nice washes in to give him some shadows and depth. Same on the metals of his arms and things. He comes with a gun attached to initially, but he also has two accessory pieces, one being a blade and the other being a hook. So in theory that just unplugs there, and you can see it's just on a simple little peg, and then you can swap over to the hook or the blade if you wish. And if you really wanted to, I think you could sort of getting him holding it as a sword or a knife or something, but it is designed to peg into that arm there. He also has a open reaching hand. But yeah, there we have Trapjaw, and another really great figure in my opinion. I'm really loving these so far. There's some really great posability out them. They feel like decent figures, really worthy of that price point. I mean, look at that metallic green on his legs. That's really nice. I really do love all of the work and detail that's gone into these. So there's some really great work by the sculptors and the artists for this. I don't know if that's going to be black in the film. It would have been maybe nice to have some paint app on the belt just to bring out those details there. I mean, there's some really nice molded detail. Compared to all the other paint apps we get, it's a little surprising we don't have anything there. If those are interested, it appears that the shoulder straps are removable. They are just pegged down, so it looks like that might be removable if you really wanted it to be. But I'm going to leave that as it is. There we go. And then last but certainly no means least, we have the Lord of Evil himself, Skeletor. Look at me, He-Man. I'm a toy. Oh, I'm sorry. His jaw's a little weird, but I think that's... yeah. Okay, so his jaw is hinged, much like Trapjaw. As a result, it's a little oversized compared to the rest of the head sculpt and looks and sits just a little bit weird. But it's not too bad, I suppose. I like how they've actually painted underneath the neck a black, so that the blue doesn't necessarily show through. You can see the black under there. You can see some red dots in the sunken eyes with a really nice skeleton style wash for the skull. I mean, that looks absolutely fantastic. I love that. Coming down, he's got a collar point with some really nice molded detail, which is then highlighted throughout with a red gemstone in the middle. That is glued to his chest. His braces. His loincloth is again given a sort of metallic-y dry brush, very similar to how his torso's been given a wash to bring out some of the colours and everything else. There is a boot cut there, but I don't think it's really supposed to be. Oh, okay, maybe. I think this one's just overly tight. Yeah. So he still has the boot cut. His legs can get a decent range of movement regardless of this loincloth. The cape is two separate pieces. He has a cowl which is glued to the skull, so when you turn the head the whole thing moves, and then the cape itself is done in a molded, very rubbery plastic with some really interesting textures on it. It gives it a very interesting feel. You can see some molded detail throughout. I would have preferred this to maybe be a cloth cape. You know, people like McFarlane are now using cloth capes with wires in it. It would have been nice if perhaps we could have had that for Skeletor. We would have perhaps lost some of the molded detail in here, and while losing the molded detail would be a real shame. I do like being able to pose the capes, and this just being a classic, it just kind of sits there. What's interesting is that if you look at the figure, his poses have sort of or at least his artwork has that cape coming out to the side, which this unfortunately you can't do, which is a bit of a shame. And it also means that if you move the head in certain angles, that cape doesn't go with it. Now, I don't know if in the film he's supposed to have a cowl and a cape separate and they are two separate pieces, or if they've done that solely for the figure to get the articulation there. While I don't mind this piece, yeah, that cape, it would have been nice if we could have had something just a little more articulated, a little more flowing. But it is what it is. It doesn't make or break this character in any real way whatsoever. I'll lie him down for a second. He comes with a reaching, grasping hand and a fist, along with his Havoc staff. And this, the eyes are a clear blue plastic, so they actually catch the light and feed it through as a light pipe. We get the ram's skull with a boned neck, and there's some really nice paint apps throughout on that coming down. The Havoc staff itself looks astounding. That is amazing. I just absolutely love what they've done with that. And he can get a grip on that if you want him to. There. Oh, careful. Mine's already warping where I just tried to fit it in, so just be careful of that. But he does get a grip on his Havoc staff if you want him to, and we can get plenty of posability out of the figure, much like all of the others. Overall, I think these are absolutely fantastic figures, with the exception of Skeletor's cape. I don't really have any additional wants for the figures. I would like to know what these effects pieces are for. I can't figure out where they attach to or what they're designed for, so that would have been, I suppose maybe you could use it on Trapjaw, but I don't know why it would come with Fisto and Ram Man. So yeah, I'd like to know what those are for, but otherwise I really love these figures. Fantastic start to the line. I've got the other movie figures on pre-order. I probably won't go in on the cartoony figures or anything like that, but I do intend to keep collecting some of these movie figures. Just before I quickly finish, I just wanted to note that much like the Heroes box art, the insert on the villains is done in a purple, and you get Snake Mountain instead of Castle Grayskull. But there we have it. Thank you for... Oh, sorry, one other very last thing let's quickly do is, here is Skeletor from the Chronicles collection. Just so you can see how these scale together. He does come in a little bit taller, but not that untowards. In fact, I think you could scale these together quite nicely without any real concern. But yeah, there we have it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, stay safe, and remember, freedom is a right, not a privilege. So as soon as I turned the camera off, I suddenly realised what the effect pieces are for. They are for Ram Man, and they are to go on his legs. I don't think I've ever had an accessory figure which has accessories for their legs, but yeah, these just pop on where the boot cut is. The boots peg back in, and it looks as if he's blasting forwards, which is a pretty cool accessory in my opinion. I really like that idea. Get him jetting forward like so. There we have it. There we have it. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Till next time, stay safe.